I'm Ed Williams from Mexico, Missouri. I spent 15 years in law enforcement. I started law enforcement in 2006. I was a patrol supervisor, a patrol lieutenant, just prior to becoming the jail administrator, given the rank of captain. And that's where I held that position. And within that interim, I became an instructor through the Missouri Sheriff's Association. I taught just about everything except firearm. So I was fairly adverse as to my training and experience within that law enforcement. Like I said, I spent years in law enforcement, and human trafficking has never been a topic that was discussed. I had never taken a report or seen a victim or had any knowledge of trafficking. Never seen that, never heard of it until I got a phone call about 7:30 one morning, and I was asked if I was going to go to the museum. The museum is called Grayson Museum. It's a historical uh, facility in Mexico, Missouri. And I told them, no, I don't have any reason to go to the museum, and they said, well, there's a body up there. I said, oh, no, I hadn't heard of that. Hadn't officially come on duty. I was just actually getting vehicle maintenance done when that phone call took place. So I did drive past the museum, and I did see law enforcement or city police up there, public safety. They were up there doing an investigation, but I didn't stop because there were several people on scene already. So I just went ahead and went to work. Well, I got another phone call, and they gave me a name, and they said her name was Mariah, and it kind of hit me. I'm like, I have a cousin named Mariah. I said, well, what's the last name? He said Davis. I'm like, yeah, that is my cousin. I have a cousin named Mariah Davis. So I'm friends with the coroner, the Aldrin County coroner. So I gave him a call, and I said, I understand that you have a young lady by the name of Mariah. He goes, yes, we do. I said, may I come up and view the body? He said, yes. So I go up there and to the funeral home, and he led me back to where she was, where she was at. And when I looked at her, I was like, yes. I confirmed it. It was my cousin Mariah. She was a nice young lady in college, and 20 years old. I had no clue that this was happening to her, or that she was even going through it. Like I said, it was kept very well under the wire, as I'd say. No one knew. I sat there and looked at her and just wondering why and what happened, and I felt bad because me being law enforcement, I'm like, well, I should have been able to help her, but I couldn't because I didn't know, that she was going through such hell, if you give lack of better words. It's been a hard pill to swallow for a long time, and going to her funeral, it was even harder because she shouldn't be there. She shouldn't be in a casket. She shouldn't be buried in someone's cemetery. She should be up, going to school, getting her career started, and proceeding on from that. But she never got that chance. And how we come to learn that what she went through, she had left letters to her brothers and describing and detailing everything that had happened. And, once I heard that, I'm like, well, I got to find out who these people are. So now she has a grief-stricken cousin and also an angry cousin who's a law enforcement officer. So I made it my mission and my business to find out who was involved in her recent happenings. And I found that there's 5, 3 males and 1 female. I've dealt with these folks throughout my career, so I knew who they were professionally. The female, her job was to call in the Johns, per se, and they would come in, random guys, and pay the money and do whatever they wanted to do with my cousin. They kept her doped up so she couldn't fight them off or refuse or reject. Well, I didn't know much about I didn't know anything about the coalition. I saw a brochure that there was going to be a human trafficking presentation in Mexico. So I want to go to that. I found that to be interesting since it happened to my cousin. So I'm like, I want to learn more as much as I can, and I thought that would be good information, a good education for me. And going in not understanding anything about it, I was talking to, I want to say, an advocate worker if I'm correct on that, she had made mention that there were several victims of trafficking that go through our ER in Mexico. They go unreported to law enforcement, and that disturbed me because I couldn't understand why. Because law enforcement, we get reports on dog bites, domestic assaults, just a little bit of everything, but except trafficking. And I couldn't understand why we don't get those reported. Now I do. It's the grooming process and what these victims go through is one reason why they don't say much. Why they have a negative outlook on police, because we are also looked at as the victims. Law enforcement, they're just going to arrest you. They're just going to do this, and that's not the case. You're there to help. And I wish that my cousin had the strength to either single me out, talk to me, slide me in, something, get a hold, reach out to somebody in the family, or if not me, or somebody, and maybe she would still be here. Her situation, got me on the road to want to find out more about trafficking. I feel that if, my department and others had training in human trafficking, the science of what to look for, I think I could have saved her. I think she could have been saved by somebody, if not me. But like I said before, she has long hair. She took pride in her look, and for her to shave her hair off right before she died, that was kind of out of the ordinary. But again, I didn't know that was a characteristic of trafficking a victim. So yeah, I'm glad to know that there's training out there now for everyone to get. Folks can be trained, and this awareness can be made to our community, and which I think is much needed. Not only for law enforcement, but just for civilians as well, so other people can know what to look for. There was a lady in Kingdom City, Missouri, at a restaurant. She was a manager, and there's a lot of people that are on her radar. They're potential victims that, she says she gets an uneasy feeling sometimes, and she asks herself, are these people a victim, or are they being held by this person, or what's going on with these people? She asked for training for her and her staff so they can better know what to look for and seek help for them if need be. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to meet with her and try to set up some time for training with her and her staff for her restaurant, because they're right in the hub. They're 54 and I-70, so they have a lot of truckers that come through that way. And so she wants the training, and I'm sure there are victims that do come and go. So she wants to know what to look out for and how to get folks some help. I'm also glad to be able to have a voice and share my story and share, and spread the awareness to folks who otherwise never would hear or just don't understand. People are starting to take notice, I believe, and it was just a good thing because, with this, I call it pandemic, it's not going to go away unless we talk about it, unless we, make the bad guys feel our wrath, so to speak.